Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Today I'm going to be explaining a 2009 Hindi sentimental comedy film titled, 3 Idiots. Farhan, 30, is a passenger on a flight that is about to take off. He receives a phone call, and the information they deliver astounds him. Just as the plane takes off, he gets up from his seat to approach the stewardess, but a sharp pain in his chest causes him to pass out. The pilots return the plane to the runway, and Farhan is wheeled outside. He suddenly opens his eyes, revealing that he was faking the heart attack. He does a few jumping jacks and tells his carer that he appears to be fine before fleeing. He then rushes to the house of his friend Raju. He also calls Raju and informs him that their third friend Rancho has returned to town. The news astounds Raju just as much as it does Farhan. He quickly puts on a shirt and runs outside, still holding his shoes. When the friends meet, Farhan reminds him that he forgot to wear his pants. Still, neither friend seemed to mind because reuniting with their long-lost friend Rancho was more important. They return to their former engineering college and meet Chat, their college rival and a gullible egotist. Chat, it turns out, had made a bet with Farhan and his friends in college. They decided to meet 10 years later on September 5 to see who was the most successful of them all. While everyone else had forgotten about this idiotic wager, Chat remembered it and returned them all to the same location. He also reveals that he is a millionaire and the vice president of Rock Ledge Corporation. The other two are unconcerned about his success and are only interested in meeting Rancho. Rancho apparently left at random after college and hasn't contacted them since. They had given up looking for him after several failed attempts. They're about to beat up Chat for wasting their time when he claims Rancho is in Shimla. He wants to take them to Shimla to bring them all together and show them how far he has come in his life. Farhan and Raju are eager to accompany him and don't mind if he tries to prove they're inferior to him. In a flashback, we see Farhan starting his freshman year of college. He and Raju were assigned to a single room with Rancho. Farhan had no desire to become an engineer and was only doing so to please his father. Rancho was not like Raju, who was too worried about the future to focus on the present. On their first night of college, they met him while being bullied by the seniors. It was a senior boys' tradition to strip the freshman boys naked and force them to bow. It was thought to be a way for the freshmen to show their respect for their elders. It was probably also a way for their elders to openly express their homosexuality without fear of repercussions. Rancho refused to follow the tradition when everyone else did. He locked himself inside his dorm room and refused to leave, even when the bullies' leader threatened to teach him a lesson. Rancho is about to pee in front of the bully's door, but he is smarter than the others. He connects an electric wire to his spoon and slowly lowers it through the door. The bully is electrocuted when he pees on it. Everyone applauds him for his brilliant idea and laughs. Rancho's intriguing personality both impresses and perplexes Farhan and Raju. Following that, we meet the college's strict dean, Vuru, also known among the students as the Virus. He is a typical orthodox man who believes that life is a race and that students must do exactly what they are told in order to succeed. The Virus despises wasting time the most. For the same reason, he uses Velcro instead of buttons on his shirts and hooks on his ties. Every year, Virus gathers all of the first-year students and delivers a speech about a special pen he received from his teacher. The pen is an astronaut's pen that scientists invented after years of research to allow them to write in space. He has been waiting for an extraordinary student like himself to receive the pen, but has yet to find one in his 20-year career. In other words, the Virus has a very high opinion of himself. Virus has given the same speech to every class of students the college has ever had, and no one has ever asked him a question in his life. Rancho, on the other hand, wonders why the astronauts didn't use a pencil instead of a pen. Virus is taken aback. He can only say that he will return to the question after the speech. Rancho's question is praised by Millimeter, the school's janitor and child worker. Rancho gives him money to purchase a school uniform and advises him to enter any class at any school without being noticed. Farhan finds his interesting personality amusing, but Raju believes he will cause them problems. Rancho is not like the majority of the students who serve as the professor's stooges. He asks his own questions, comes up with his own solutions, and genuinely enjoys engineering. But the teachers always mistake his attentiveness for misbehavior and expel him from class. When Rancho is thrown out of one class, he just sneaks into another. He is in college to study, not to get a diploma, and that is an incredible life lesson that we should all be so fortunate to learn. Roy is the only other person like him at college. He has been working on a brilliant project since the 4th year, but Virus refuses to look at it because Roy is past the submission deadline. He even calls Roy's father and tells him flatly that his son will not graduate. The news is too much for the hopeful father to bear, but the Virus is unconcerned. He is adamant about not giving Roy another chance. Roy tosses his project, which Rancho later discovers. He notices that the machine is innovative and only requires minor polishing. He works on the project for the next week and finishes it. When it's finished, they fly the drone to Roy's room, only to find his body. They rush to his room and see that he has done the unthinkable. During Roy's funeral, Rancho informs Virus that Roy was murdered by the college's pressure system. Virus takes the remark personally and writes a letter to Farhan and Raju's parents, accusing Rancho of being a bad influence on their sons. Virus should be imprisoned. The next day, Farhan's father summons them to his home and orders Rancho to stay away from his son. Rancho is distracted by the wildlife pictures on the wall and ignores his words. Farhan, it turns out, wants to be a wildlife photographer but has chosen engineering because of his father. Rancho tries to persuade his father otherwise, but it is insufficient to overcome his deeply ingrained and shallow principle. They then go to Raju's house and discover that his family is impoverished. His father is bedridden and retired, and although his sister is getting older, no one wants to marry her. Raju is responsible for the family, which is why he is always afraid of the future. Later, the friends pretend to be wedding guests in order to enjoy the food. Rancho overhears a girl named Pia and her fiancé discussing her watch. According to the conversation, Sue has a materialistic man who is only marrying her for her status. Rancho expresses his feelings about Sue has to Pia and drops some dressing on his shoes to demonstrate how materialistic he is. Sue has, as expected, cries out the cost of his shoes and curses the waiter for ruining them. Pia is intrigued by Rancho's personality and discovers that he is her father Virus's student. Unfortunately for the guy, the wedding they crashed is for Virus's elder daughter. Pia informs her father about the three, which gets them into trouble. Chat sneaks adult magazines into everyone's dorm room the night before exams in an attempt to distract them. Rancho is determined to teach him a lesson when he discovers this. Chat is invited to give a Hindi speech at an important charity event one day, but because he is terrible at Hindi, he by hearts the speech without understanding a single word of it. What he doesn't realize is that Rancho has replaced key words in the text with words like boob and assault. Chat accidentally insults the VIPs with his absurd speech on the day of the event. After getting in trouble for it, Chat is enraged. He challenges the guys to a bet on who will be the most successful in 10 years, and writes September 5th on the wall as the date. Rancho runs into Pia and Sue has outside a jewelry store one day. Sue has recently purchased an expensive watch for her. Rancho conducts an experiment in which he forces her to pretend she has lost her watch. Sue loses his cool and calls her an idiot once more, demonstrating his materialistic side. Pia breaks up with him after returning the watch. Rancho receives a phone call informing him that Raju's father is having a seizure. He and Pia drive to Raju's house and get his father to the hospital in time to save his father's life. Raju is grateful and sorry to his friend. Pia notices Rancho's concern for his friends and begins to fall for him. Finally, the first semester exam results are out. Farhan and Raju are ranked last, but they are content that they did not fail. Then, much to their surprise, Rancho is at the top of the list. The saddest people in the crowd are Chat, who comes in second, and Virus, who despises Rancho's guts. Virus poses with the passing class, with the first and second ranked students by his side. In the present, Raju and Farhan travel to Shimla with Chat to meet Rancho. They arrive at his house based on Chat's coordinates and discover that Rancho's father died that morning. They approach a man when everyone is in mourning. To their surprise, the man claiming to be Rancho is actually someone else. Even the photo they took in college is different. The guys went back to a nearby restaurant to plan their next move. Chat mentions a great scientist and inventor named Wang Du, who is about to sign a $100 million deal with his company next week. The other two are unconcerned about the so-called great scientist and are curious as to why Rancho's identity was stolen. They returned to the house and inquired about the real Rancho. To intimidate them, the man pulls out a gun. It works on Chat, who flees like a coward, but Farhan and Raju are unconvinced. They then threaten to flush his father's ashes if he does not tell them the truth. The man finally admits that he is Rancho, and the guy who went to college with them is his gardener's son, Cho Tae. He used to do Rancho's homework and study for him when he was younger. Rancho's father allowed Cho Tae to continue because he needed education and Rancho needed a degree that way. Cho Tae had to return after graduating because he had promised not to contact anyone after graduation. Raju and Farhan leave to look for him again after learning of his new address. When the guys were in their final year of college, they were worried about the job interview in 2 months. During a speech about the recruitment, Virus insults Farhan and Raju and declares that they will never get the jobs. He refers to them as losers and mocks them in front of everyone. That night, the three of them get drunk together. Rancho reveals, while drunk, that Farhan has a letter in his bag addressed to his favorite photographer, with whom he wishes to work. Raju is also labeled a coward for constantly worrying about the future. Raju and Farhan, in turn, promised to follow Rancho's instructions if he confessed his feelings to Pia. They break into Pia's room at Virus's house. Rancho discovers her sleeping and expresses his feelings, only to find out that he had been conversing with her pregnant sister Mona. His proposal impresses both of the girls. Virus soon wakes up and discovers urine on his front door. In the dark, he also notices Raju's face. The guys are so drunk that they fall asleep in class and don't wake up until everyone else is studying. Virus storms into the classroom and discovers Raju still drunk from the night before. Later, Raju is summoned to his office and informed that he will be permanently expelled. He begs the dean to reconsider, but the man simply ignores him. Having no hope of a good life left, he jumps out of the dean's window. Rancho and Farhan rush him to the hospital in the following scene. Fortunately, he survives, but he becomes paralyzed. Pia, who is also a doctor, informs them that Raju can see and hear them, so they should smile and encourage him to recover faster. Rancho and Farhan do everything they can to bring Raju back from that day forward. They throw him parties, tell him a lie that will make him happy, and buy his mother the clothes she has always wanted. His expulsion is also lifted, but even this good news is insufficient to bring him back. Then, one day Rancho tells him that Farhan is going to marry his sister, who is desperate for a husband. The news causes Raju to regain consciousness. He calls them rascals and tells them to stop lying in his first words. Following that, he quickly improves. On the day of the recruit, Farhan receives a letter from his favorite photographer inviting him to work as his assistant. All he needs to do now is ask his father for permission. Similarly, Raju abandons all of his fortune rings and bravely attends the interview. He tells the interviewers everything about his poor academic performance and why he was about to be expelled. His demeanor is unlike anything the interviewers have ever seen, so he is hired. Meanwhile, Farhan persuades his father to let him pursue photography after an emotional conversation. Following the commotion, Farhan and Raju remove their pants in front of Rancho to pay their respects, as is customary at the college. However, Virus, who believes Raju will fail, is not pleased to be proven wrong. While drunk, he tells his daughters that he will create the most difficult exam questions ever. Pia is worried about the guys, so she gives them the second key to Virus's office and encourages them to steal the papers. Back in the present, the guys call Pia to inform her that they have found Rancho. They however discover that she is getting married in a few hours. They also deviate from their original route to pick her up. Pia initially refuses to accompany them, despite the fact that she is still in love with Rancho. She sits next to her future husband, only to discover that the man behind the hat is Raju. In a desperate attempt to persuade her, he has taken the groom's place. They eventually flee, while the guests stare in disbelief. Farhan and Rancho devised a plan to steal the exam papers the night before the finals. They don't want to do it for themselves, but they are terrified. If Raju fails, he will do something stupid. As a result, they steal the paper. When Raju obtains it, he refuses to use it. Virus notices this and storms into their room, where he discovers the question paper on the floor. He expels them right away. The guys have no choice but to pack their belongings and leave. When Virus returns home, Pia reveals that his eldest son, who died in an accident, had in fact caused his own death. He did so because Virus compelled him to become an engineer. Pia storms away after relaying the news. Maya goes into labor later, but the city is flooded, so Virus cannot transport her to the hospital. Rancho notices this on his way out and prepares to assist her. Pia instructs him over the phone to place Maya on the tennis table. They urge Maya to push harder, but she is exhausted and struggling to breathe. The only way to get the baby out is to use a device called a vacuum cup. Rancho gets an idea after Pia shows them a demonstration of the device via the computer. He believes he can construct the device using items found around the college. He finally creates a makeshift vacuum cup and uses it on her after much effort. Mona gives birth to a beautiful baby boy who cries within a minute of being born. Rancho is about to leave when Virus stops him and hands him the astronaut's pen that he was supposed to give to a special student. He also responds to Rancho's first question, claiming that a pencil won't be useful in space because its nib could be dangerous if it floats around. What a silly response. By the end of the night, he has forgiven the students and has permitted them to take their final exams. In the scene that follows, the guys graduate. Rancho is once again the class leader. He drives away in a taxi as the ceremony continues. Farhan and Raju never saw him again after that. They attempted to contact him several times over the years but were unable to locate him until now, when they know his exact address. When they arrive, they discover that the location is a school where Rancho teaches. They come across the janitor Millimeter, who has now grown up. Rancho is said to have brought him to his school so he could get an education. In the following scene, Pia drives to Rancho, who is teaching some students by a lake. She approaches him and slaps him across the face before kissing him. Farhan and Raju soon join him and beat him up for abandoning them, but they realize he had to keep his promise to the real Rancho. As the group reassembles, Chat joins them and mocks Rancho for being a schoolteacher. He contrasts his $1 million pay with Rancho's 5,000 rupees salary. When he notices Rancho's virus pen, he confiscates it as well. The rest of the group inquires about Rancho's real name. To everyone's surprise, he turns out to be Mr. Wong Du, the great inventor with whom Chat hopes to strike a deal. Wong Du calls him from his phone number and relays the message. In the final scene, Chat apologizes to him and opens his pants to show respect, as is customary at the college. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.